Okay, today is Tuesday, December 13th. This guy is finished. I just picked up all the painted parts. So what I'm going to do now is go through the whole procedure on putting the whole thing together. And I'm going to film the whole works so you can see how easy these things actually are assembled and what's involved. And number one on the list is getting these things straightened out. These are the chrome pieces that go on the exhaust pipe covers, and I think it's prior to 2006 they use these. After that they actually got rid of these. These are typically pretty grungy. You know, it's hard to keep them clean, but the trick to getting them polished up requires an SOS pad. You don't have to rub much. It's just you just want to get the film off of it. Get the rubber part here. You know, you want the thing to look like brand new when you get it done. That's the whole idea here. But the steel wool does the cleaning, and the soap is a lubricant, so it doesn't scratch the chrome. You can use this on really any chrome except for plastic chrome. You gotta be very careful on plastic chrome. But as you can see, it looks like brand spanking new, and that didn't take much at all. So we get the other one done here, which is, this one actually has a little bit of rust on it. And obviously this is not going to stay, you know, this way. Like I say, it's hard. You got to get on your knees and get underneath there to clean these. They don't typically end up getting cleaned too well. But, you know, here again, you just want it to look nice. When the owner picks up the Trike, you want it to look like it's well polished and brand new. And you can see this. So now that they're all polished up, we'll go ahead and install these. They're just held in place with two 8mm bolts here. And as you notice, I don't torque them down too bad. I just snug them up. So there you go. These are usually pretty beat up. In fact, this one here I think was gouged pretty bad right in here. And my painter, he always straightens them out and makes them look like brand spanking new. So they're both going to look that nice, which is a good deal. This one requires just a little bit more work because it's got this piece of rubber here that goes around the shift lever. You kind of want to start these by hand because it's easy to cross thread these. There isn't much thread there. There's like 2 threads and that's it. That's why I don't tighten them very much. There. That looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and install this. So I installed this shield here. There's a metal shield that, there used to be a plastic thing in here that covered up the electronics. I make a metal one and powder coat it, and that just 2 screws hold that in there. So I didn't really show that because it's pretty simple. The side panels actually just sit right on here like this. We just kind of ease them in. And there's 4 of these little metal hooks that just clamp onto this square frame. And then this tucks behind the engine cover just like that. And that's it. 2 screws hold that on there. Again, just a light. You can, normally I would recommend doing this by hand, just so you don't strip the heads out of those things. But that's it, that's all that holds it on there. It's on there good and solid. The other side, as you can see, there's the 4 hooks. Pretty much the same setup. You can see why I put the exhaust covers on first, because you can't get those on once these are installed. So you have to kind of do everything in the proper order. And this thing, which I call the bonnet, slides over here, and you gotta be real careful because it's got those leading wings there. You don't want to scratch anything. It just slips in there just like that. And I need a couple 7/16. And there you go. As you can see, these can't go anywhere. They're fastened here, they're hooked into the frame. The bonnet actually, right here, is pushing down on it. I started adding a piece of 1/2 inch by 1/8 inch steel here, which forms a little bit of a lip. There's a foam piece behind it. What the foam does is it just keeps the trunk lid from rattling. And this little ramp here, any water that comes through here would tend to shed off to the sides. Plus it makes this edge much straighter, so it's easier for my painter. He gives me a lot of instructions, and that's one of the things he really liked when I started doing that. And this just slides on. If you look at these, it's just got a peg that sticks out. So these just slide on like that. And there you go. So that's the whole thing. That's how long it took in real time to put this all together. I've got the storage bin, which just drops in. It just drops in, that's it. And I got to put the lock set on here. Well, there's 4 1/4 inch by 1 1/8 bolts that go in here. The tube here is actually a 1/2 by 1/2 hardened steel, cold rolled steel tubing, square tubing, which is proven to be pretty durable. I do put an extra screw right here because there's a possibility this bolt hole here could fracture. So I put a self-tapping in here, which spreads that load out, and it prevents that from happening. It's only happened to one bike I know of, and it just happened to be mine, and it was because the hole was drilled too close to the edge. But I'm glad it was mine, because I fixed it and then I changed the procedure a little bit to make sure nobody else has trouble. So I like it when the few times things go wrong, they happen to me. Now the owner picked out the scheme here. She wanted this to be shaped this way to match the front of the bike, which I think is a good idea. It looks good. Didn't want the black on here, which I agree with. You know, it's got enough black with this on here. And the rest of the bike really doesn't have any, you know, two-tone effect or anything. So this was a real good idea on her part. And I should mention, this is the first bike that I built specifically for a lady. So there you go, good and solid. We'll get the other side here. Same procedure. Yeah, she gave me strict orders. Don't listen to my husband, this is my bike. So that's pretty cool. And they don't live too far from here. I'm actually going to deliver this bike to them because it's only about 9 miles away. That's kind of a nice thing. This is her Christmas present. I don't know if she pays for it or what, but she'll have this by Christmas, which I plan on delivering it this weekend. That's the plan anyway. We'll see what their schedule is. So as you see, it's just an extra little self-tapper in here that helps bridge across that and relieve any stress. So the only thing I got left now, like I say, the storage bin is done. I just have to drop that in. There's a cable stay that goes here that keep the hood so it only goes about this far open. And then I got a little pan here that deflects the air up into the radiator. That's it. Right now, she's a done deal. The next step is cleaning it. Cleaning and delivering. So as you can see, even any major stuff you want to do to the motorcycle, it doesn't take long to tear this all apart. In fact, you wouldn't have to take the fenders off or any of that. So all this stuff can come off in about 5 minutes. And then, you know, pretty easy to work on. As far as changing oil and routine maintenance, nothing changed. You can get at the filters and everything just fine. What really works good is if you run one wheel up on a ramp or put a jack under one wheel to tip the bike up a little bit, you can get under there real easy. It's really no different than before. Everything's totally accessible. As far as maintenance, there's none. This has grease in it. This whole tube here is full of grease. I've mentioned that before. That's mainly to keep the water out. And that's the only place there's a grease fitting. There's just that one grease fitting. These ball joints are permanently lubricated. Those are for a Ford Mustang, and they're a special low friction ball joint made by Delphi. So there's no maintenance there. Brake pad should last a couple 100,000 miles. All these eyelet joints here, those are all stainless steel. The ones on the tie rod are not only stainless steel, but they have a rubber boot around them, and I fill them with grease. So there really is zero maintenance. Tires are balanced. They should last 30,000 miles, I would hope. And I specifically picked tires. If you look at the tread pattern on here, it's fairly deep, and it has the ability to throw water off to the sides. So it reduces the chances of hydroplaning, which can be a problem on these. I mean, you're looking at a 6-inch wide tire versus a normal motorcycle tire. So as you see, it really doesn't take much to put these all together. Once it's, the hard work is getting it all to fit the first time. After that, it's kind of a slam dunk. In really good shape. So, as you can see, pretty easy deal. Easy peasy, I guess you would say. So we're going to jump over to 94, get this guy delivered this weekend or so, and keep trucking along here.